Hi there, I'm Chad Bradford, and I'm one of your fellow fellows for 2015-2016, and I'm here with my great friend Tucker Steinmetz. Tucker is kind of my partner in crime in my project. He has been working at the prison that I've visited a few times, and it was through our conversations that I decided to, as I said in my earlier blog post, to really dive into this kind of work. And so I just wanted to, since I was in town and since he was here, I wanted to get a chance to introduce him and let him say a few words about kind of what we've been working on.
Well, okay. Well, I'm very excited about what all of you are doing. Chad kind of involved me and kept me posted as he found out more about your program and got involved. And he has gone down to the prison with me a couple of times. I volunteer down there 2 nights a week. We do a Buddhist meditation night, and then we have a sort of a book club, part of a literacy program that is, both have been very, very successful. The prison, so you know the setting, is first offenders, a few who are not first offenders, nonviolent, and most of them in their 20s. And they're just an amazing group of guys. There are 4 of us now, volunteers, and we just love it. We enjoy it. The men welcome us warmly, and we feel like we get more out of it than they do, but they say otherwise, so it's a neat thing. And Chad went down one night. It was in the literacy group that you did the Macbeth.
Yeah.
And he brought some excerpts from Macbeth. Now, these are not guys who, we occasionally get some who've been to some college, but for the most part not. And these are not guys who had studied anything. They might have encountered Macbeth if they got through high school. A lot of them started getting in trouble and didn't make it through high school, but they're bright. And he took Macbeth down there and had them doing some Macbeth and learning how to read it, how to understand it, how to interpret it. And they ate it up. And they've been asking for him to come back, but he's always off somewhere acting, and they ask about him regularly. They'd like for him to come back, and they want to do more Shakespeare. I don't think anyone in that particular group had ever seen a Shakespeare production and probably had not read any Shakespeare that they remembered. Regrettably, as it is presented in high school sometimes, it doesn't invite you to revisit the bard. So they liked it, and they liked Chad, and they want him to come back. And he sang. Get him to sing for you. I can tell
That'll
you.
be a later
See,
blog
if I
video.
stayed around here very long, I can tell you all sorts of things about him. He was still in high school the first time we were in a show together at the Weekend Theater, which is a really neat little theater here in Little Rock. It's been around 20 years now, I guess, and does stuff no one else in town will do. And we were in several shows together, and we've had a lot of fun on stage. But anyway, what else can I tell you?
Well, I was hoping,
See,
one of the things that really excited me was when you talked about the things that the guys were writing.
Yes.
Because I think storytelling is a really big component of what I want to bring together in the project, of being able to present their own created work, which I think is always, as artists, you know, when you make your work, that feels amazing and is therapeutic, but also the act of viewing it brings about understanding, empathy, compassion, and it helps you to see things from different perspectives. And so if you could just talk about a little bit about the kind of things that they have created or that they've shared with you.
They they are free in our groups. We're kind of an interesting group. We're sponsored by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock, which is not a huge congregation, but is about 50 years old, 60 years old, been around a long time. And it's beginning to, we're kind of growing. But we're the only not specifically Christian volunteer group that goes to this little prison. So we're just a little bit different, and I think the warden has always been a little suspicious of it, but I've always maintained a really good relationship with the chaplain. So we get to do a lot of things, and we have a rule which the prison people have never complained about, and that is the Las Vegas rule, that unless they say they're going to break out of the prison or they're going to hurt themselves or somebody, they're free to say whatever they want to in our group. So they can speak freely, and they don't always just speak of their frustrations. But they also, sometimes we'll always have some guys who like to write, and they will bring in things that they have written. I'll give you an example. I had one guy who left for prison when his new little boy was 11 months old. Most of the guys, by the way, are there with some drug-related crime. And he wrote a letter to send on his son's first birthday. Son wouldn't be reading yet, but someday he will be. And it was beautifully written. It was a deeply moving thing. So we do some exercises where they write, and they express themselves really well. I like to see us expand that. We read some really good books. We kind of point them in the direction of some good books. They've read some classics, and they and others. They like to read good stuff. But they also like to write, or they like to share their stories, which has been something that I enjoy. I like stories, and I'm a social worker by profession. I'm retired a long time, but I like stories, and I always use that in teaching other social workers or paraprofessionals or whatever else. I just like stories. I always look for a good excuse to tell them. And I haven't told any here, really, so sorry. But no, that's kind of anything else you want me to
that was
tell
great.
About it?
I think that's great.
Well,
we want to keep people interested for the next installment.
Oh, good. Well, it may not be I don't know. It may not be.
We'll do it every time we get a chance. We'll do another one to keep people updated.
We always get together when Chad comes to Arkansas. He has to come home and get an Arkansas fix.
Yes.
And we always have these good visits. But we have spent a lot of time talking about the potential for what could be done with the arts in the prison setting, because it's being done in a lot of places. It is not being done yet in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And I hope we get something going, because there's a great need for it. And I'd close with this, that saying what we find is that the guys we work with need to be heard. Mm. They just need to be heard. They need to be able to talk freely and feel like they were heard, whether it was their positive outlooks or whatever else. I tell a quick story. Can I tell one thing?
Please.
About the guy with the apple?
Yeah.
You shouldn't unleash me. I get excited. But the other night, we had read Into the Wild about Chris McCandless, the young man who left after graduating from Emory and spent 2 years wandering around and ended up dead in an old bus in the wilderness in Denali National Park in Alaska. And we read that, and then we were watching the film, and we brought popcorn and apples and a couple of other things just for a treat. An excuse for a party. Although parties have been banned in our program, but we're still doing them. But this one guy was sitting there, and he said, "Can I just say something? I've got to tell you all." And he held up this apple. It was a Pink Lady apple. They're good apples. And he said, "I just want to tell you that you don't know how much eating this apple means to me." He said, "I've been gone from home for a year. We don't get any fresh fruit here. We don't get any treats. This is the first apple I've had in a year, and I dearly love apples, and this is a special moment." So they're learning to appreciate small things, and we're trying to build on that. I'll shut up now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys. I'll check in with you soon.